Today we're going to use Tinkercad to make a fantastic layered monogram keychain. So let's get cracking. To accelerate the process, we're going to start from our website, HLModTech.com. I've got a page dedicated to Tinkercad with tons of amazing categories. Below that, you'll find the Day 1 favorites, the useful starters, and the Tinkercad essentials. We are going to start today from the HLModTech. This is a Google Sheet with all my favorite tutorials stored in it. You can also get to it using the bit.ly up above. Before I get too far along in today's project, I do want to mention that it is brought to you by PCBWay.com. Their easy-to-use website is my go-to whether I'm doing a 3D printing, CNC, or PCB prototype project. They offer prototyping for as low as $5, and you can also have your parts assembled. If you're looking for 3D printing or CNC, PCBWay.com offers a full suite of services that are useful whether you're running your very first prototype or a full batch of parts. Of course, if you want to learn more, please check the link in the description. Just highlighting the library super quick, we've got beginner lessons, basic skills, keychains and text, playlist, 7 different levels, and of course, the shortcut page that you can print. Today we're working with keychains and text. If you want to learn more, please check all these tutorials right here. This one about the free fonts and adding free fonts, that's super useful. I'm going to give you a shortcut though. We're simply going to go to level 4 to find the free files and font Fun 26. Now I have just added 2 more fonts to this, so even if you've downloaded before, you can download it again to get the new fonts. Of course, remember the golden rule of Tinkercad, give it a reaction before you copy and tinker. When you do this, you get an exact copy of my file with all the fonts that we can add to Tinkercad. I'm going to show you real quickly. We've got 2 brand new ones that I've added. Here's how we add them. Simply copy the name, click from Basic Shapes to Your Creations, and create a shape. Of course, we want to put the name of the font in there. That way we don't lose track of it. And we want to allow it to be edited. If you want to tag it, you can tag it with font. Just make sure you press enter so that it saves it, and then simply hit Save Shape. So now when you visit Your Creations in any other project, that font's available. Once again, this font's brand new as well. I'm going to copy the name of it, Control C. I'm going to hit Create Shape. When it appears, let's paste that name in. Once again, I'm going to type font and press enter. We need to allow editing, and I'm going to save the shape. You'll note it says shape created, and bang, that's done. Now, I've already done this for all of those. If you want, you should add those on your own, but you can see now they're always available to me. With that completed, we're going to simply back up to the main Tinkercad dashboard. And I'm going to tell you to hit create brand new 3D design. I like to start by naming it. We're going to call this one letter keychain. So here's how the project works. We've got a letter on top, we've got an outline underneath, and then we cut the name inside before making it a keychain. Now this could be a shape that was brought in as an SVG, but I'm going to show you how to do it just using Tinkercad and our little creations that we just made. So let's first find Stencil. This font is free for personal use. I'm going to ungroup it, and we're going to simply choose to make the E. I do want it to be capitals. Press enter. Of course, wait for it to show up, and then when it does, I'm going to stretch it so it looks similar to what I've got over here for my keychain. I like to have measurements close to 7 centimeters, so you can see I'm doing 68 by 58. I'm going to choose to make my keychain 2 millimeters thick and press enter. And then I want to create the outline. Check this out. If we do export, SVG, this will give me the outline of this shape. I'm going to just put it in my downloads. I'm going to put an E in front of this so I know what letter it was, and I'm going to save it. I'm going to move to import, and I'm going to bring that back in. Simply pick it and click open. I want the art. I'm going to keep the measurements, and I'm going to just choose import. Notice it gives us the exact same shape, but check this out. Set the height to 2. I'm going to maximize the quality, and I'm going to switch it to outer line, and I'm just going to keep the number 5. I want the corners to be round, and we have just made the outline of our keychain. I'm going to switch my colors. I'm going to make this blue just for fun. Now this is where you can have some fun deciding if you want these to run into each other or not. I'm going to choose to switch this to 4 and 3 until I find the border that makes it look just how I want. I think I like that gap, so now I'm going to simply take this one, do W for Workplane, put it on top, and I'm going to do Control D and D to drop. I could have just changed the height to 4, but I like this better for cutting in, and it'll show the effect better in just a moment. I'm going to quickly copy this color, notice custom, and I'm going to do copy. I'm going to click on the bottom piece, switch to the custom colors, double click, and I'm going to paste. Control V. Now we simply need to put the name up on top. Of course, I'm going to use my brand new font, but if you've added all the fonts that I've shared, there are so many ways to do this. You do want one that's going to cut out pretty nice though. So I'm going to bring this out and I'm going to just set it on the blue. That way it's at the right height. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. Notice if you stay inside the center of that circle, it's easier to snap it. I'm going to choose ungroup and then I'm going to put the name. Last time I did Everly, this one, how about Ella? I'm going to make it a hole, give it a second for it to snap to the words, and then I can just move it where I want it to be and squeeze it so it looks just like I want with the handles. Now once again, this is sitting on top of the blue, so you ready for this? Shift select the hole, shift select the Ella, do Control G to union group, and we have just made our project. Now I am going to take this height instead of 2. I only want it to be 1. That way it's going to print just a little bit faster. Let's do W for Workplane, put it back down on the ground, and let's wrap up by adding the keychain. I'm going to go back to basic shapes. I'm going to bring out the sketch tool and set it up close to where I want it. I'm going to simply draw a diamond. Notice I'm going to the middle, so that'd be 5 over, 5 up. There's my 10 by 10 diamond. Double click again to make it a circle. I'm going to turn on the stroke width. I'm going to choose 2.5. Notice that gives me a nice center hole. I can now click somewhere else and drag this down where I want it. Now we can hit P for pen. I'm going to click right here. I'm going to go straight down. I want to go out 6. I'm going to press number 2, and I'm going to click, hold, and twist to get the curve I want. I just want it to be a straight up and down curve. Notice it comes from that spot and just moves down exactly the way I want. If you want to adjust it, tap your arrow keys to get it to the exact spot you want. I'm going to choose 7. Then I'm going to do Control C and Control Shift V. Take that and I'm going to make it negative so that way it flips. And I'm going to move it to the other side. Shift nudge is 10 times as fast. Single nudge gets me to the exact spot. Double click to finish. Double click to edit. Now that I've got those corners lined up, I can simply drag these across so that they overlap. Bang. Finish sketch, and we have just made the top of our keychain. Of course, we do need to set that height to 2 and press enter. If you want it to come in a couple millimeters, you can nudge it to where it makes you happy. And just like that, the project is ready for 3D printing. Now you could use an OBJ, but I'm going to use the paint by layer height. Just a reminder, 2 millimeters. So now I can grab this entire part and I'm going to choose export as an STL. I've got my 3D modeling folder and it's going to be called letter keychain. I am going to put Ella on it so that way I can keep track of who it was for. And let's simply save the changes. Today we're going to print this with the Prusa Core 1. I'm going to simply hit add. Once again, there is my Ella keychain. Now my Prusa is a single color printer, so check this out. I'm going to set it to 0.2 speed. I'm going to hit slice now, and then I am going to do a filament change to get the second color. I'm going to simply slide this down, and if I go to 2, that is the exact spot where it splits. I'm going to go to 2.2, so that way I'm sure that the entire bottom is a single color. And then I'm going to simply hit add color change, so that way we get our second color as it finishes. Once again, we can hit slice, and I can choose upload and print. And here we are with it printing almost to the layer change. And here's what it looks like when it pauses and starts blinking the yellow lights for us to swap. It's already ready to be pulled out. I do want to mention I cut this at an angle so it goes through here easier. And simply slide it all the way in until you feel it stick. Then we can simply go to our interface and tap yes. And continue. There you can see it purging. And we can simply hit yes. And we're on our way to an awesome 2-color keychain. And bang, we have got an awesome keychain. How cool is that? Let's wrap this up quickly. Of course, love how that turned out. The Core 1 Plus has been absolutely magnificent. Would be awesome to someday have the INDX, but right now I'm just enjoying printing with a Prusa machine. The reliability is astounding, and if you were filling a plate in a classroom, you can make several keychains for students using the color swapping, and it wouldn't take that long at all. Of course, don't forget, check out all those font tutorials. They'll help you get them all added so that you can put them to work in all your projects. You could also do this same thing with an SVG. Say you went to Canva, used Pick SVG to convert that image into an SVG. Bang, you'd have the outlines and be good to go. Whichever way you choose to make it work, I think you're going to have a lot of fun making fantastic keychains. Of course, if you've got extra ideas, I'd love to hear them in the comments down below. I do quickly want to say thank you to everybody that supports me via YouTube memberships. Don't forget there are 3 levels of support starting as low as $5 a month. With any level of support, you get early access to videos. Also, make sure you pay attention for those members only posts. A massive shout out as well to everybody that supports me via Patreon. Love how that group is growing. We are way past 600 members. It has a fantastic free messaging area where you can ask questions, post designs, gain skills. Of course, you can learn more with the bit.ly up above or the link in the description. Finally, friends, I want to thank you for watching. Don't forget, every time you like, hype, share a video, add a comment down below, or click subscribe. You're helping HLModTech get just a little bigger, which absolutely makes my day. Friends, have a glorious day, and keep tinkering.